Yeah. Get high rapper. The man hour. You already know. It's live. It's raw. It's going down. Like this.
I'm going around and letting everybody know that they welcome to the show. It's the latest thing you ever seen, you already know. Let me introduce you to your host of the hour. It be Mike and Mike. Yeah, it's the man hour. Got the hottest plays, all the breaking news. Every rumor, every trade, every breaking bruise. Tighten knuckle screws. Yeah, it's going down. Have you saying what the fuck and never watered down? It's going down. I'll be rolling up. And if you buy it or you sell it, then you made the cut. Watch me flip it back. I can double up. I got sriracha for that ass, I'ma burn it up. Gotta check the rules, but know that it be fair foul. Rep blow the whistle, coach throw the towel. We can do this on the field or outside the lines. It's the man hour though, now we going live.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckhuizer here with Mike and Mike Man Hour, coming at you on the RTFSportsNetwork.com digital platform, noon East Coast time, every Monday through Friday. I am flying solo tonight as Mike LeBlanc decided to take a vacation to go fish for penguins in Antarctica. With that being said, guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. And as always, we're still giving away that $100 Amazon gift card for every 500 likes we get here on the Facebook page. How you get entered? You simply like the page. Simple as that. You like it, you comment on it, and you share this live stream. We're giving away multiple entries, so you can share this up to 10 times. That's 10 entries per live before share, so that's 100 entries right there. Simple as that. So give you guys some context of like some top entries here. Jameson, he become a top fan last night on the Great Debate Show, and he got 5 more entry points by simply becoming a top fan. How do you become a top fan? Interact with us on the live stream. So welcome Larissa, welcome MB Barry, welcome Jerry Daniel to the show, guys. Also, thank you for the shares on that as well. Congratulations, guys. You get 10, 11 entries since you liked it as well. So we always start the show always with some man talk and whatnot. And usually Mike, he's probably drunk by this time, and he gives you some great insights. But tonight, I'm drinking my sweet iced tea, and I just want to talk to you guys a little bit and just give you some insights of like what is happening in my life and welcome people, really to the raw, uncut side of the Mike and Mike Man Hour. So I live in Louisville, Kentucky, where the Breonna Taylor thing is hot and heavy. If you guys don't know what the Breonna Taylor thing is, basically Louisville has no knock like stuff where they can just walk into your house and they can, like, if they have a warrant, they can walk into your house and like arrest you. So long story short, Breonna Taylor was supposedly shot in her back. When I say supposedly, because there's different stories coming out. If you would like to hear the stories, hit me up on Twitter at mbuck41 or at Mike Man Hour, like as well is our personal thing. But there's stories coming out that she was not sleeping. She was actually flushing drugs down the toilet and whatnot. So like that's why she was ultimately shot, because she was trying to destroy evidence and like whatnot. With all that being said, there are major protests that are happening. They're blocking the streets coming to and from Indiana over to the Kentucky side. They are getting federals so the Black Lives Matter movement Wednesday of last week shut down our 2nd Street Bridge. That is the main bridge to get to Indiana to Louisville. They were hanging on banners and parking cars. 27 people were arrested and got felony crimes for blocking a bridge. I don't know what the exact charges are by any means, but it is dumb and asinine. So I'm giving some backstory to give you some prelude. I have a next door neighbor that she is, I want to say she's half and half, but she looks more a white girl to me with like that. What's the word I'm going to lose? It's a ghetto look. She has those big old eyelashes that like look like they're ready to fall off her face. Those apple bottom jeans that are ass crack sticking 2 inch out of. It is very, very trashy look, right? And she has a nice car, and it has fuck Donald Trump all over it. It has no justice, no peace, yada yada yada. And like, I support the no justice, no peace. Like I support all that. I support the Black Lives Matter movement, yada yada yada. But why did you have to say fuck Donald Trump on there? And that made zero sense to me whatsoever. Like, I am not a Trump supporter by any means, but I'm not a fuck Trump guy either. You know, he is doing stuff in our world, and it is, quite frankly, it's kind of a change of pace. If you want to get into a political battle here, I mean, Donald Trump hasn't been in office for 50 plus years. Bernie Sanders has been in office since he's like 30 years old. So how is he, quote, going to change the world when he's been doing the same thing for 50 plus years as a senator and stuff like that? But I am no political guy by any means. So I just had to get that off my chest a little bit and give you guys some what is happening of what's going to come on the show here. We're going to welcome a guy onto the show from Snake Sports Talk, Jake Silva. He will be joining us right after the break here. We're going to have to get into some Deshaun Jackson talk here. The Eagles kind of just slap him on the wrist and say, "Hey, don't do that anymore, or else." I mean, I think that's kind of BS. And then of course we're going to talk about how trash Lamar Jackson is as always, because quite frankly, he is trash, right, guys? If you guys are not following us at all, you know my stance on Lamar Jackson. So we're going to take a quick little break. You guys, welcome to the show. Be sure to share this. Get 10 entries into that Amazon gift card. Every 500 likes we get on the page, we're giving away another $100 Amazon gift card. There is no limit of how many you can win. So if you're lucky enough till we get to 3,000 likes, you can win, $1,000 worth of Amazon gift cards. Easy money. But let's go ahead and take a quick little break, guys, and bring Jake Silva onto the show. What's up, Mike Reeves? I see you over there, man. We'll be right back, guys.
Yeah. Get high, rapper.
Hit the wrong button.
Hour. You already know. It's live. It's raw. It's going down. Like this. I'm going around and letting everybody know that they welcome to the show. It's the latest thing you ever seen. You already know. Let me. The man hour. You already know. It's live. It's raw. It's going down. Like this. I'm going around
and welcome back to the show, guys. We're having some technical difficulty there. We got it figured out. So we're going to pick up right where we left off, because that's what we do on live, raw, and uncut sports talk. With that being said, it is going on my ear again here. Man, this is going to be a great night, isn't it? So welcome Jake Silva from Snake Sports Talk Show. You guys can find him on Facebook at Snake Sports Talk Show. He is live every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. East Coast time, and that's 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time. So, Jake, welcome to the show. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me up here on the show, Mike. It's an absolute honor and a privilege to be a part of the show here today. You heard it from here, folks. My name is Jake the Snake Silva from the hit show, The Snake Sports Talk Show. You can catch me every Saturday and Sunday mornings from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time and 10 a.m. To 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Born and raised here in the Vegas Valley in Nevada, 25 years old. This is something that I've been doing now for about 2 years, going strong, and something that started so small on Instagram, and then eventually started to make its peak to where I've expanded everywhere. You can find my content. Like me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram for all of my great content on all media platforms. Subscribe to 2 of the YouTube channels. One is the home of the Snake Sports Talk Show, the Spotlight Sports Network, and the Snake Sports Talk Show as well. And follow me on Spotify for all of my latest podcast episodes. As for me being a normal guy and with, the sense of unnormalcy here in today's world, I mean, as the great, Bob Menery would say, just people doing all sorts of ripper magoos. Apparently, I don't seem to know what's going on in the world. But here in the Vegas Valley, while it's hot as hell, I live about a few minutes close by to Allegiant Stadium, the home of the Las Vegas Raiders, and in T-Mobile Arena, the home of the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm a big-time fan. I cover all sorts of content, NFL, NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball, you name it. I'm a very even-keeled and balanced guy when it comes to content and great fun live streams. Not someone that's like kind of one-sided in some certain things, but like most of us in the world, we all have opinions and we all have something to talk about when a breaking news or topic comes up, and we just want to weigh in on every topic on both sides of the stories.
Yeah, so here at the Mike and Mike Man Hour, we do have weighted opinions, and like I told you pre-show here, I am a Lamar Jackson hater. I live in the Louisville, Kentucky area. I saw him play in college. Yes, I'm originally from Kansas, and the Kansas City Chiefs are my team. There you go. I got the Super Bowl champs, something that your Raiders will never see here in your lifetime, I'm sure. But hot takes all over the place, and now. Being from Vegas and stuff, like, have always been a Raiders fan, or is this something new?
Well, this is probably going to shock a lot of people on the show and even shock yourself as well, because I am part of the AFC West Division fan, but not a fan of those haters. I am a big-time fan of the LA Chargers. I bolted up since I was 7 years old. Loved watching guys like LaDainian Tomlinson, Junior Seau, and so many great Charger players. And, I look, from one fan to another, and I'll tell you this, 10 years of Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to have to deal with that now for years, because my pops was a Raider fan, and he remembered the years where he had to deal with John Elway.
Right.
And now having Patrick Mahomes, who I honestly think is a once-in-a-generation type talent and is something that the Chargers are going to have to cope with for 10 years. But I will tell you this, man. The teams are looking great. There are no excuses whatsoever. Everybody's got a task at hand, and that's something they got to execute. And hopefully the Chargers can rebound from a 5-11 season. And I'll say this, my early prediction, I think they're going to go 11-5. I'll be honest with you with that.
The Chargers, 11-5.
11-5.
Who do you have them starting at quarterback? Are they going to start a rookie? Or are they going to start Tyron? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think my thoughts on the Chargers here and how I've kind of broke this all down, because I even spoke with my network as well, my great colleagues. You can check them out as well on the network, post up great content. But to me, I think the Chargers, they're going to stick with Tyrod Taylor, because if you think about it, Tyrod is not so bad of a quarterback as most people like to analytically think he is, because, yes, I know his completion percentage is about 61%. But if you have to think about it, he did at some point turn the Buffalo Bills around when he was their starting quarterback. The unfortunate part was numerous injuries, numerous concussions, and that is a question for them as well. I kind of see the Chargers sticking with Tyrod Taylor, and I know that the first 5 to 6 games of the schedule are going to be a little tacky, because you got Kansas City, you got Tampa Bay, you got New Orleans, and it's going to be tough. But I think at this point they're going to stick with him until the newly rookie draftee out of Oregon, Justin Herbert, is ready to go. And here's one thing people have to keep in mind. This is a kid who is a biology major, 4.0 student. You give him a playbook, he's going to learn it very, very fast. Right. And he's going to get acclimated, especially with a newly upgraded offensive line, a fully stacked offense and defense. I mean, it is a tougher division in the AFC West, but what's not to say that, the Chargers can't rebound from a 5-11 season to potentially go 11-5, and seeing what Anthony Lynn is capable of in his coaching methods.
Yeah, and like, I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan, so I have always I've never really hated the Chargers like I did. I hate the Ponies and the Oakland or Vegas or LA, whatever team you want to call them. They'll probably move in a year anyways. But for some reason, like, Chargers have always kind of been that mediocre team. Like, you cannot sleep on them, because they'll come up and bite you in the butt, but they're not going to make any noise in the playoffs either. Was that to do with Phillip not having that killer mentality in the playoffs, or was that a part of the coaching staff, or just maybe their matchups in the playoffs?
Well, I think part of that, because everybody remembers how, when the season started, I mean, Patrick Mahomes wowed us all in his first full season as a quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's something that we all have never even come across or was even prepared for. Right. I mean, but the Chargers themselves, I mean, you're absolutely right. They're the type of team that, nobody ever sleeps on during the regular seasons. Postseason sometimes is a little bit questionable. But I think part of that was, was, the fact of, and I'll tell people this, Anthony Lynn in some ways can coach. I remember the times when they were dealing with Mike McCoy, and I don't know what kind of job that was throughout those years, but it was just terrible. But Anthony Lynn going 9-7 the first year, then going 12-4 that next year was something that was a huge improvement. And I think it was just a point of momentum for the coaching staff and even for Phillip Rivers as well. But going back to last season, I mean, this was kind of a backtrack season for Phillip Rivers. We know about the embarrassing loss in the playoffs against the New England Patriots, which everybody overhyped the Chargers would be able to beat Tom Brady. But here's the thing. You face the Patriots in Foxborough. You don't even know what you're going to get. You're going to get that Bill Belichick, Tom Brady clutch every time you face them in Foxborough. And that was one thing that kind of stung for the Chargers. And it lasted through them until the entire season, where they faced against Kansas City, and even for mediocre teams like, I'll be honest, the Houston Texans, that they ended up having horrible losses. And I think that's something where the gas ran out and they just needed to reconfigure and reconstruct to get themselves back to being a competitive team.
So, guys, we are on the we are talking to Jake Silva here from Snake Sports Talk Show. You can hear him live every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. East Coast time, right there on his Facebook page. So go ahead and head over there and give him a like as well. Tell him that Mike from the Mike and Man Hour sent you, just so he knows that this conversation is doing him some good. So I hate to open up old wounds for you as a Chargers fan, but that year that they went 13-3 and was the 5th seed in the playoffs. If Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have done Patrick Mahomes things and maybe lost that final game and dropped Kansas City down to the 5th seed, would have the Chargers at least made it to the AFC Championship game?
I think there would have been potentiality for the Chargers to make the AFC Championship game. I mean, you kind of look at the readjustment now, and this is why I think it's so exciting about this next up and coming year, because the fact of we now have the brand new CBA agreement where now there's going to be an extra team in both the AFC and the NFC side to get into the playoffs, which I really did like, because this was a controversy that had gone on for 10 years. The fact that the New England Patriots had a winning record at one point and missed their shot at the playoffs, and there were a bunch of teams like that. Pittsburgh was one of them. And so having that opportunity, I think, gains a lot of momentum for a lot of teams in the league. But I think, honestly, when you look at the seeding and the way that, the NFL playoff structure is set now, if the Chargers had been able to do that, and I even said this, the very first game of my life that I went to was the holiday Christmas game between the Baltimore Ravens and the LA Chargers. That did it for me, because when I went there my first time, I had maybe one of the greatest experience. I got a chance to meet all the players, Russell Okung, Joey Bosa, Keenan Allen. Like, it was probably the greatest experience I'd ever have in my life. But the way that the game went, the fact that, and I'll say this for you as a Lamar Jackson hater, but it killed me, the fact that the Baltimore Ravens just mauled over the Chargers in a soccer stadium, and that all that momentum just went to Baltimore, take the steal away. If the Chargers had not lost that game as a whole, they probably would have been able to make it to the AFC Championship game, with the fact of having a bye week in the middle of it, and probably would have had New England and Kansas City start from the bottom to work their way up to the top.
Right. So you threw out the extra team into the playoff seeding this season, giving only the top seeds in the NFL that first round bye, and not the type 2 or the top 2 like it's been previous as long as I can remember. Who do you think that hurts the worst, or does it really hurt anybody? Because last year we saw a team like the Baltimore Ravens, they sat out week 16, week 17, then they had a bye week, and then they laid an egg versus the Tennessee Titans. Does this hurt teams moving forward, or does that help the teams?
Well, I think in retrospect with this, because I think for me personally, I'm not sure, like, as far as kind of critically thinking as far as what will be difficult for certain teams. But I will tell you this. I think having an extra playoff seat for certain teams, I think gives a lot of momentum and a lot of potential for some teams that are hungry, that want to play playoff football. I mean, look at it this way. How many times are we going to tell ourselves, is Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns going to eventually make it to the playoffs and break Cleveland's curse? I mean, we're all kind of waiting for that. The Chargers to rebound. And honestly, hate to bring up the Donkeys, but the Broncos, too, is a team that I wouldn't sleep on with Drew Lock and their newly upgraded offense and defense. And, you know, for so many teams out there, there is a lot of potential. It's an exciting season. I mean, I said this on my live stream show. Outside of Detroit and a lot of teams that are in full rebuild mode, there's no excuses up to this point. Now, as far as for the bye week goes, I've always said this, that it always depends on coaching. You know this for a fact. Andy Reid is, I mean, he's a playmaking magician. He's a guy that is like an architect, much like Bill Belichick. You put a blueprint together. You have the star franchise quarterback who knows how to execute those plays, knows exactly what the pressures and expectations are when it comes to playoff football. Now, for some coaches, and we know John Harbaugh had been in this position before, even winning a Super Bowl in 2012. You know, and so he understands that. But I think the fact that, like, it goes in various ways. There are coaches that do well in a day after a bye week, and then there are coaches who sometimes come out of the gate with all this expectation and hype, and sometimes take us by surprise, like how the Tennessee Titans did with Mike Vrabel. And I thought this was a well-ran team that was tough, full of grit. And so it could really go many other ways, but it really is depending on your preparation, how you set the schedule up, and when you face against any team in the playoffs, how are you going to approach them come the first half and the second half of football? That's the way that I look at it.
Yeah, like those are some great points, and I believe Andy Reid has never lost a game after a bye week, so kind of keep that in mind. So just moving forward for you fans that like statistics and whatnot. So you are a Chargers fan. You live in Vegas. You have the Snake Sports Talk show that people can hear 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. East Coast time right there on your Facebook page. And Jim Cross, thank you for the like, man. You have been entered into that $100 Amazon gift card once we hit that first 500 likes and so on and so forth. You we'll be giving away that $100 Amazon gift card. Who is a player that you absolutely love in the NFL? Like, he could be on your rival's team and you're still going to love him no matter what.
You know, and it's actually kind of funny. I did my live stream early this morning, and the first thing that I ended up doing for my best for last was because of the Patrick Mahomes 10-year contract deal. I'll be honest with you. When I look at the Kansas City Chiefs and over history and over time, I think of Patrick Mahomes. You know, I think he's Kansas City football to me. The fact that he brings this remarkable talent that none of us had seen coming. And, you know, because here's honorable mentions: Tony Gonzalez, Derek Thomas, Priest Holmes, and if you want to go way back when, Len Dawson. I mean, there were a lot of guys that, you know, in Kansas City history that were guys that had impacts, but not such a big impact as much as Patrick Mahomes has had in the first 2 full seasons. So for me as a favorite player, I love watching. I'd say this: I love watching Patrick Mahomes. And for me, being just as a rival fan, the way that how elusive, how very smart and accurate of a quarterback that he is, the fact that, I mean, I'll argue this. The fact that quarterbacks coming out of college and coming into the NFL pro level the way that they are and taking us by surprise is something that I think started way back when with Russell Wilson. You know, the fact that everybody had doubts and questions about Russell Wilson, but the fact is he never had an injury. He was very elusive and very mobile and knew how to win games just by determination and going by the plan, regardless of the type of offensive line he had, both good and bad. And so that influenced a lot of quarterbacks now, where we're seeing Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and even the futures now with Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. the list itself is it's massive, and I've never seen anything like it. And this is going to be probably a decade to talk about for a long, long time. But I love watching Patrick Mahomes and just love what he does, how he executes, and just the type of grit and the energy he brings to the team is something that, honestly, for any fan, would love to have playing under center for their teams.
You are 100% correct. So you have alluded to Patrick Mahomes' contract several times here, and if you've been living under a rock, it is a 10-year extension, so he is locked up for the Kansas City Chiefs for 12 more years because he's going to play out his final 2 years, and then the extension will take on, hence the name, extension of the contract. Do you see any other players in the NFL that will ever get any type of deal like this whatsoever? The reason why I bring this up is because people, the Lamar Jackson fans, say that he is the next person to get the 10-year deal. Before I give you my opinion on it, what are your thoughts on that?
So my thoughts on this, because what people have to understand and have to realize is that, listen, outside of Tom Brady, who was the last quarterback in the first 2 full seasons to be able to accomplish what he has, where he's gone to 2 straight playoff appearances, won back-to-back divisions, also winning a championship, and then eventually winning a Super Bowl? I know a lot of people, and Joe Flacco, and the one thing that I said too about Tom Brady, I mean, he did come in at a time where Drew Bledsoe got injured. And then, we all remember the memorable Adam Vinatieri kick that won the first Super Bowl of many for the New England Patriots. But the thing of it is how impactful that he is. He does remarkable things I've never seen before. The fact that he can throw sidearm, probably throw with his, he throws ambidextrous. Like, who in the hell does that? And then the fact that, how quick he is, and despite having the slight injury in one of the weeks, still being able to come back with the same hype, same mentality. It does take a lot. Listen, I'll tell people in the comments, I like Lamar Jackson, but to be honest, 0-2 in the playoffs, you got to win more playoff games. You got to win more playoff games. And Josh Allen, he's a nice kid. I know sometimes I do talk a lot about him because, honestly, people lowballed him the second he got drafted out of Wyoming. But the fact that he comes into Buffalo's system, which I wasn't sure about, but he transformed himself as a quarterback. The fact that Sean McDermott, one of the most underrated coaches in the NFL today, that the fact that the defense is strong, they now have a number 1 offensive wide receiver in Stephon Diggs. I think the Bills are going to be something else. But as far as impactful for a player like Patrick Mahomes, I think, honestly, we may never see a contract like that ever again. And if you think about this, Kansas City's got they've got a lot of questions on them, because one of them is going to be like, well, what's going to happen with Tyreek Hill? What's going to happen with Travis Kelce? What even is going to happen with the defense? I am a firm believer that in this generation of football now, it is so offensive-centric that offensive players come and go all the time. And you always get big-time offensive players coming out of college from the 2nd, 3rd, possibly 4th round of the draft. So they know how to reload. But the only question is, defensively is what kind of, worries me. Because the fact of, the biggest smart move was getting Tyrann Mathieu. Right. The fact that he comes in a 3-year contract, very impactful as a safety. I said he was a sneak of the free agency. But keeping guys like him, and even keeping guys like Chris Jones and company, that's going to be a difficult question for Kansas City to go through moving forward, maybe potentially by year 3, year 4 of his contract.
So many people have alluded to hey, he has taken all this salary cap money, yada, yada, yada. But if you actually look at the actual structure of the contract itself, he has a huge signing bonus that he received, and there's a lot of payments toward the end of the career, like year 7, 8, 9, and 10. It is when he'll be making a lot of that money, because he does know that they are in a beautiful window right now to win a lot of games. And yes, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, they are all due up for contract. But like you said, the Kansas City Chiefs have a lot of wide receivers to play with. They just drafted Harmon last year. They have Byron Pringle there. Sammy Watkins said he would take $1 million pay cut just to stay on Kansas City, just because he knows that is how important it is for them to win right now. So with all that being said, I do agree with you on that. I don't think we will ever see another contract like this again until there is another ascending player such as Patrick Mahomes. Many people are saying that Trevor Lawrence is going to be this player, that is going to shape the and all that good stuff. But I can tell you right now, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a bust. He is going to go to the Cleveland Browns or something like that, and he's going to go there to die. He is going to be a bust. Yes, I know he has a full year to develop still, and then still be drafted and figure out like all the teams. But he is going to be a bust. He is a system college quarterback. You know who else was a system college quarterback? Ryan Leaf, Tim Tebow. I mean, Tim Tebow, he didn't really get a fair shake. Like, I think if he would have had chance in Denver, I think he could have led them to more playoff games. Maybe not a Super Bowl by any means, but definitely more wins and a lot more of where they're at now, kind of a stagnant kind of, I'm a 3-5-6-6-1 team over and over. So you said you are a Chargers fan. Do you have an NFC team? Because most people do have two teams.
Me personally, I mean, I don't have an NFC team whatsoever. I mean, I do remember even growing up as a kid and, the one person that I did watch, and yes, it's definitely from Green Bay, was Brett Favre. I mean, the fact that, Brett Favre had this grit. He had this guy that was not afraid to sling it. He was not afraid to, let the ball loose most of the time,
right.
and you look at the opposites of that with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the fact of the matter is like, yeah, he has a beautiful arm. He's a golden child. He's a kid that out of NorCal that, Green Bay developed into the system. But this has been a Green Bay historical thing for years. The fact that, and I've said this before, even when Jordan Love got drafted, because everybody just started freaking out about it. And I said this, I'm like, look, Brett Favre was 35 when Aaron Rodgers got drafted. And now Aaron Rodgers is 36 and Jordan Love is here. And what's to say that people won't move on at some point and say, oh, Jordan Love's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the organization. It's history repeating itself. But Brett Favre was definitely a guy I loved watching in the NFC, just the way that he carried himself and how he was not afraid that if you got to have a big play, all right, I'm ready to sling it. Let's make a play happen.
So I am going to jump into the comments here. Key, he says, my guy Jake. Do you know Key?
Yep, I know Key in the building. She is definitely in the building. You can catch her on Key in the building. She is a die-hard Philly fan. That is Flyers, Eagles, Sixers, and even the Phillies as well. She's a great colleague of mine.
Man, she must love second-place teams. Always finishing behind the Cowboys, huh? But I had to give a little plug for my man Mike LeBlanc since he is not here tonight. But, Jake, before we let you go, guys, and we are talking to Jake Silva from Snake Sports Talk Show. You can find him 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. East Coast time on his Facebook page. Head over there, give him a like and a follow. But, Jake, we have a little competition happening on our Facebook page right now. We are doing a logo competition, and for today's competition, we have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Tennessee Titans. Which logo do you think is like more intriguing, more like that it factor to you in your eyes, and who would get your vote?
And I will tell you this is actually a very, very good one because honestly, I mean, both these franchises, I mean, you think of just over histories and over time. I mean, the Tennessee Titans was a team that moved since being the Houston Oilers, and the Arizona Cardinals, who, they had their first main logo at one point before they started to kind of revamp it and energize it a little more. But if I had to pick my vote today, of probably the best logo between the two, I mean, gosh, I have to say, I think it's got to be the Tennessee Titans, because you know what? It reminded me this last year, like your good man, Lamar Jackson, in playoffs, you just got to learn to tighten up a little bit, tighten that tie up a little more, But to me, it's like the Titans. It's like it's got that oomph factor in them. And let's not forget about the unis, man. I mean, the unis this year, with the fact that you got the sword slashes, these are like Clash of the Titans kind of thing, right. Like a David Goliath kind of thing. And so, they got that factor. And to be honest, I mean, for as long as the franchise has gone, I don't think for this next year, there'll be such a big time Cinderella story like they were a year ago. But they are a team that I don't sleep on because Mike Vrabel, a great defensive coordinating coach, right. Impacted Kevin Byard and so many in the defense. So they know how to pack a punch. And who else packs a punch is the guy they got at running back at Derrick Henry, who I think, to me personally, is this day and age's Earl Campbell in this league. The fact that he's built strong and he's very, very fast in his legs and goes for power for first downs and touchdowns, that's a team there that I'm just like, even when I look at the Baltimore Ravens and thinking, oh, this is easy in the bag, not that easily. They'll come at you with something that you've never seen before. And sure enough, they proved it. They made it all the way to the championship game and eventually fell short to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. But this is a team that you got to be fully prepared for what's coming.
Yeah, and just to add to your point there, like I voted for the Tennessee Titans logo as well over there on our Facebook page. And the reason is because normally I like simple, just kind of like I think the most iconic logos in the NFL is the Green Bay G or the NY from the New York Giants, or even just the Chargers bolts on it. I really hate like they put the 26 below their like the bolts. I think that is dumb. But just stick to the bolts. But the Arizona Cardinals logo is just kind of generic. Like every Cardinals team has that Cardinal face. Like, oh yeah, they could probably think of something different somehow, some way. There are many people that would love to do a logo for them for free. Just give them a shout out, like on Instagram. Blow their follows up to like 1,000, and they would love to do it. But that Tennessee Titan logo, man, it has it going on. I mean, like it has the stars, it has the swords, like it has the flames. It just and it pops on whatever color shirt that just like you have. You can have a white shirt, it's going to pop. A black shirt, it's going to pop. Gray shirt, it's going to pop. So that's why I love the Tennessee Titans logo. I think they might win it all, to be honest, when it comes down to it.
Oh yeah. And you know what? I mean, like, let's be honest. I mean, that volunteer logo that they got for the state of Tennessee. I mean, I've got my brother and sister-in-law that live out there in Cookeville, Tennessee. And you know what? I hope great things for Nashville, that they get things cleaned up and running. But you know what? I mean, think about it. A volunteer state like that it just bleeds orange. But the fact that, a logo like this that shows a little toughness, a little grit, and just kind of shows, listen, you come into this house, in Tennessee, I mean, they'll be willing to pack a punch, and they're not afraid to push you around left and right.
Yeah, so, Mike, we are going to Jake, I keep calling you Mike LeBlanc because I miss my man. But, Jake, we are going to let you go here, guys. We are talking with Jake Silver from Snake Sports Talk. You can find him live on Facebook every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. East Coast time, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for those Pacific fans over there on your page as well. But, Jake, any closing thoughts before we let you go?
So I'll tell you this. I mean, as an NFL fan, I am very, very excited of what this next season is going to bring. And as I mentioned multiple times, this is a season with no excuses. Everybody's jobs are on the line. I mean, you have to think about, not just coaching jobs, but even for quarterback jobs. I mean, now the fact that the Cleveland Browns are better, Baker Mayfield has no excuses. And, of course, too, I mean, you look at the Philadelphia Eagles with the injuries of Carson Wentz. Can he finally stay healthy? And I said this for Eagles fans that I'm not worried about the Jalen Hurts pick. I think he's probably one of the best insurance policies you could ask for in the NFL draft, because outside of it, who else can you really trust? Nate Sudfeld? Or any other, D-plus quarterback for Philadelphia if he got hurt again. But to me, I'm very excited for this season. And you know what, man? I hate to say this too, and even for a Kansas City fan, but I can't wait to see how the Bolts are going to do. I think we're ready to bolt up and revamp, because you can't tell me a team that goes 12-4 one year and then takes a step back 5-11 can't rebound and go 11-5 the next year. The fact that the defense and the secondaries got revamped, the offensive line finally after 30 years is finally the best that it's ever been to give protection. And listen, I hope the best things for Phillip Rivers in Indianapolis, but we couldn't have done this sooner than later. I mean, did this happen with Drew Brees? Didn't this happen with Phillip Rivers? And now it's finally, eventually now going to happen with Tyrod Taylor. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of, expectations. But, man, I can't wait to get this season going, man. It's going to be awesome.
So, Jake, one more question before I let you go. If the Colts and Chargers play in the playoffs and the Colts beat the Chargers, how are you going to feel?
You know what? I will feel a little bit hurt by it. But you know what? At the same time, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Phillip Rivers did get what he deserved. He finally got himself an offensive line. And like most people, I will tell you this, don't sleep on the Indianapolis Colts. This is a team. I did listen to your last podcast thinking of them going 10-6. I'm going to say they're going to go 11-5. The fact that, the AFC South, I mean, Tennessee might be a team that might give them some problems. I'm not sure about Houston. And look, we can forget about Jacksonville. They're already in rebuild mode. But this is a team that got 3 sleeper picks in the draft: Michael Pittman Jr., Jonathan Taylor, and Jacob Eason. They're ready for the future. And I think Jacob Eason is in the best position possible because an offensive coordinating and a former quarterback in Frank Reich, I think, can transform his game because he had a lot of rocky steps in Washington a couple years back. But this is going to be exciting stuff. And I think the Colts, I wouldn't be mad at Phillip Rivers. I would congratulate him, and I would wish him all the best of luck. And, maybe this might be the last hurrah for him.
Yeah, it could well be. But, Jake, as always, thank you for joining us, man. Jake Silva from the Snake Sports Talk Show, guys. You can find him live on Facebook, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. East Coast time. That's 7 a.m., 9 to a.m. Pacific time. Jake, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, thank you for having me on, man. What a fun time and a pleasure to be here, man. Can't wait to do this again.
All right, definitely. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick little commercial break here. And after the break, we're going to bring in the next segment that we all love and join. It's going to be a little bit of what the. Join us after the break, guys. Mike and Mike Man Hour. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Get a chance to win that $100 Amazon gift card. All you got to do is share this live feed. Share it. That's all you got to do. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to the Mike and Mike Man Hour. I am Michael Buckeiser right here, guys, coming to you live on the Facebook page. And if you are listening to us on any other platform, be sure to head over to the Mike and Mike Facebook page and give us a like, because we are giving away that $100 Amazon gift card for every 500 likes we get on our Facebook page. How you get entered is there are 5 simple steps that you can do. There are entries for everyone. For one, you got to like our Facebook page. That gets you 1 entry into the giveaway. 2, join a trash talk group. That gets you a entry as well. We have over 12 trash talk groups. All the divisions. We have the NCAA trash talk group, a MLB trash talk group, the Kentucky Wildcats, and Kansas State Wildcats as well. And there's still more coming each and every day. So come back to our page every day and see if we've added a new group yet or not. And then you can invite people into those groups. Every person that accepts your invite into the groups gets you 2 more entries. And so, sharing is caring. Plus, the person that joins, they also get an entry too. See, you got to invite the people in before somebody else does. The next thing is you share this live stream. We go live, guys, every Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. East Coast time. Every time you share this, you get 10 entries into the drawing. So if you share it 10 times, 10 times 10, you guys do the math, 100 entries. And then if you become a top fan, you get 20 entries into the group as well. So how do you become a top fan? Simply interact with us in the chat. So guys, with all that being said, we are running a little bit of a mixed show today here since Mike LeBlanc is out. We are going to do a little bit of what the, but I'm going to do a little bit of solo. So let's go ahead and get started. So my first what the of the day goes out to the state of Kentucky. So here in the state of Kentucky, we had a NASCAR race, and then we had our Lou City soccer team have a game as well. So at the NASCAR, there was no fans there whatsoever, right? Okay, awesome. It is kind of the norm nowadays, right? Lou City had a packed freaking house. We opened up our stadium here in Louisville, Kentucky, with a packed stadium, but the NASCAR race had no fans there whatsoever. Oh, by the way, the state of Kentucky mandated that you have to wear a mask outside now too. I was seeing live feed from the Lou City games. Nobody had mask on. The rest didn't have mask on. So, state of Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky in particular, you guys get the what the. Like, what are you guys doing letting fans into your stadium? Come on now, what the? And Jake Silva just popped up here on my screen sharing that content. Thank you for the share, Jake. We got you 10 entries in here into the $100 Amazon gift card. Like I said, sharing is caring. The next what the is going to go out to the NBA. So the NBA, if you guys have been living under a rock, it has been in this isolation tent bubble city, whatever you want it, in Florida now for a week or so. They are also going to start. You guys know how I feel about how they are going to paint the Black Lives Matter onto the court, but they're also going to allow people to change their names on the back of their jerseys. Anthony Davis, I give you props. He says, you know what, I'm going to keep my name on the back of my jersey. This is why I am not going to tune into any NBA basketball whatsoever. This is becoming a political statement. This is becoming a not basketball at the end of the day. If it was strictly just basketball, like the Black Lives Matter isn't painted on the court, they aren't putting names of the victims on the back of their shirt. I mean, like, let's be honest. What does one victim over here in Minneapolis versus the victim here in Louisville, why do their names to be publicized when there's other victims in Indiana or Texas? So in the end, the NBA is losing a lot of fans right now. They have already lost me because of this is all just a political statement at the end of the day, and we're tired of it. NBA, you guys get the ultimate what the. And my next what the of the day is going to go out to the rich white folk. You guys are pushing the envelope to the Washington Redskins to basically push the name change and whatnot. And I posted something in one of our trash talk groups earlier of 5 or 6 other teams that should basically be forced to change their names like as well. We have the Minnesota Vikings. We have the New England Patriots, Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs. Who else was there? I think there was one. There was one other. But if we're forcing the Redskins to change their names, why aren't we forcing these other teams to change their names? What is the big deal? Especially the Kansas City Chiefs. My Kansas City Chiefs. They do the same exact antics on the field that the Washington Redskins do. They have a Native American with a headdress riding out on a white horse carrying a arrowhead sword with feathers on it. Same exact thing that Washington Redskins do, but why aren't the Kansas City Chiefs up in arms? Because they're called the Chiefs, like they're supporting the leaders of the tribe. And you can say what you want. I already got a text message right now saying don't talk about this, but I am sorry, Mike. I got to do what I got to do, brother. The Washington Redskins, you can say it's a racial term, yada, 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 but why hasn't it been changed back in the 60s? Why wasn't it changed back when the team was changed to the Washington Redskins? What, 1939? I believe they changed their names from the Braves to the Redskins. And it was basically a sign of respect, like, hey, we want to honor you guys. But this is not about that. This is about the Atlanta Braves. The Braves is kind of a racial term, right? So the Braves have said we are not going to entertain changing the name whatsoever. But what they want to do is they are entertaining about taking the chop away like the fans do. You know who else does the chops? Florida State does the chop. Arrowhead does the chop. I'm sure there's other teams that do the chop as well. At the end of the day, come on, like, what does it really matter? We've been doing this the same way since the 1939, when the Washington Redskins were first accepted into the NFL as a official name change. What is the big deal now? You guys, the NFL, the rich white folk in America, you guys get the what the. And the final what the of the night, it is going to go out to the people over there at Kansas State University. All right. So you guys know what happened at Kansas State University. There was a white guy that was like a student council president or something, tweeted out about the Georgia Floyd death, saying, congratulations, he's been drug free for like a month, right? And then the Kansas State football team said, you know what, we are going to boycott the season. We are going to do this, this, and this. We aren't going to play. Well, guess what? It turns out that was all kind of a publicity stunt. It turns out the Kansas State football team had an outbreak of COVID-19 within the team. So that 3 weeks that they were, quote, boycotting the season because of that racial tweet, they all had COVID. Come on, Kansas State. I support you guys for standing up to that guy. And I told you, kick his ass, right? But come on. You guys had COVID. That's why you're, quote, boycotting the season. And now you're back at practice because the guy did some type of ethical training or some shit like that. Kansas State football team, you guys are getting a what the of the week. Come on, you ignorant All right, guys, that is going to be it for tonight for the Mike and Mike Man Hour. I was flying solo dolo, had my man over there, Jake Silva from Snake Sports Talk Show. You guys can find him live over on his Facebook page, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. East Coast time and Pacific time, to 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Saturday morning. So, guys, go over there, give that man a like. He did a great interview. I would love to have him on more. And, guys, that's going to be it for tonight, like I said. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our Facebook page and YouTube channel. We are giving away that $100 Amazon gift card. Guys, get entered. It's easy money. Your wife will like it. Your girlfriend will like it. Hell, your boyfriend will like it too. Get on it. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
It's live. It's raw. It's going down. Like this. I'm going around and letting everybody know that they welcome to the show. It's the latest thing you ever seen, you already know. Let me introduce you to your host of the hour. It be Mike and Mike. Yeah, it's the man hour. Got the hottest plays, all the breaking news. Every rumor, every trade, every breaking bruise. Tighten knuckle screws. Yeah, it's going down. Have you saying what the fuck and never watered down. It's going down. I'll be rolling up. And if you buy it or you sell it, then you made the cut. Watch me flip it back. I can double up. I got sriracha for that ass, I'ma burn it up. Gotta check the rules, but know that it be fair foul. Rep blow the whistle, coach throw the towel. We can do this on the field or outside the lines. It's the man hour though, now we going live.
don't forget about that Amazon gift card. $100. Just like our Facebook page. Join our Trash Talk groups. Share this live stream right now. Go ahead and share it. That's 10 entries. Share one time. Become a top fan. Let's go and boost that. That's 100 entries if you become a top fan. 100 entries. Mike and Mike Man Hour, guys. See you tomorrow. 10 p.m. East Coast time. We out.